Thank you for that beautiful rendition, Grisella. Just wonderful. Thank you. We've been having a few technical difficulties, like more than a few, so it's congratulations to Lorraine for solving so many of them this morning. So whenever something like that happens with my car, I always say it's going to be a great trip. Well, this is going to be a great service. So there you go. So welcome home. Here at Unity, we welcome first-timers, returning guests, longtime members, and all of our friends that are on Zoom. December's power is life, the ability to energize and animate. I am filled with life, sweet life. And the message today is life gets lifey. With Chuck. Here at Unity, we celebrate the spirit of abundance, love, and life in our community. As we grow together, we learn the joy of giving as well as receiving from each other. As they say, we are all connected, we are one. Now, today is solstice, December 21st, the shortest day and the longest night. I heard a few comments before the service of people noticing that. Solstice comes from the Latin solstitium, meaning the sun standing still. Now, how many of us have noticed, maybe with some disappointment, the days getting darker, or the nights coming earlier, the days getting shorter? It's November, at least we had snow this year to brighten it up. And can you imagine that you had a power outage and you're in the cold and the dark, what that would feel like? Take a moment. What do we tell ourselves at such times when it gets cold and dark? Oh, the power will come on, or I have a flashlight, or I got a fireplace, or, we have ways of handling that. But, for 300,000 years, human Homo sapien branch, the modern man, so-called, has been around. And they did not have electricity, flashlights, batteries. What did they do when the days were getting shorter? What would they tell their kids as their kids are noticing bedtime got earlier? Or, we're, 4:30. They don't know what 4:30 is, but they know they can tell it's shorter. So, the activities of the people who were foraging, hunting, gathering, and later farming was entwined with the seasons, so they were very sensitive to the days getting darker. So imagine when these ancestors noticed that the sun, the days got a little bit longer at a certain time of year. Well, they began to mark that. Some of them with big monuments like Stonehenge and Newgrange, but other ones just in the simple noticing and being connected that the days were getting longer, and they started celebrating. They have all sorts of things all over the world. Now, this is mostly Northern Hemisphere. Believe it or not, China has Dongji, and that is still celebrated in China with family gatherings and feasting because all the work is done. There's no getting out in the fields now. They're covered with frost or snow or cold, and they have that celebration. In the Christian side of the world, of Western Europe, we had the Saturnalia going on in Rome, and we had other Yule going on with the Vikings in Northern Europe. And a lot of our traditions, how many of you have a Christmas tree? Probably pretty much all of us. That evergreen comes from the Yule traditions of bringing green into the house. The Yule log, who doesn't like a real good Yule log as a Christmas treat? That is a tradition to keep the light going. And that's some of the ways that they traveled. So they could tell stories to their children about what was happening with the sun and that it was coming back. And they had feasting and, it got really out of hand in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. even with the Christians. And the Christians noticed, Constantine in 336 AD, he was the one that decided December 25th would be a day to celebrate the sun bringing light to the world, S-O-N, sun. And so he said December, and he got the church leaders to agree at the time that Christmas would be on December 25th, which is actually the day after Saturnalia ends. So he wasn't competing, he was just adding on. And it's great. So, oops, we're going to, sorry. Dry fingers. The truth is that both the non-Christian and the Christians celebrate the coming of the light. And that's why we have so much to light up the darkness as it comes. You will find yourself lighting more candles and getting that Christmas lights up and something to brighten the night. Our neighborhood voted to leave Christmas lights up all winter to combat the dark. And that is just so much the theme, that light triumphs over darkness. What a relief to celebrate that and to do things to celebrate. Candles and evergreens are shared traditions by Christians, non-Christians, and now Christmas all around the world. When we light candles, there's fires, Christmas things. Evergreens paint the promise of a new life, that there's still life, even though the leaves are bare and the land is covered with snow. So I'm now going to invite Rick to come up, and we're going to light a candle. In fact, we're going to light 4 candles on our evergreen Advent wreath. I'll light all 4. And it's interesting that we have the evergreen and the light, same as our Christmas trees. When we light these candles, we can let light shine through us. The Christmas story in the Gospels remind us that when things seem darkest, peace, joy, love, hope, and faith can come in unexpected places and very small packages. The baby Jesus. So we can let our inner light shine to hope, peace, love, and joy. For unto us a child is born. Let our Christ light shine. Now I ask you to join me in saying together the 5 principles. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. I am naturally good because God's divinity is within me and in everyone. I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. Through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. I do my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. And how do we make that difference? Well, we practice being the change, sharing a smile or a kind word, paying attention to someone who looks lonely or sad or cold or hungry, volunteering time to be present to another, either to help out or to listen. We inspire people to make a positive change in the world as we live. Be the change. Coexist. We coexist by providing fellowship and education for spiritual seekers in all walks of life. And there are many paths to the divine. Now we're going to welcome Gracella back for another beautiful song. Wow. Peace, joy, and love in the tone. I think I need some stronger paper. Okay. So, we here at Unity are not the only ones. We are founded on prayer, and there's unity all over. And we actually have a headquarters, and at 1-800-NOW-PRAY, there is somebody 24/7, 365, a very kind and listening person to take the prayer requests from anybody who would like to call. So, and the focus is on affirmative prayer. Here at Unity, we have a prayer chest also at the front. See the box next to the candles. And in the back of your pews, there are slips that you can put the name of anybody that you feel you would like to have that special love and energy go to, and put it in the prayer box. Our prayer chaplains will pray for that over a week, and then it's sent to that headquarters where the names will be prayed for over a month. You don't need to add the details because guess what? Divine Source knows the details. Just send it with the name. And here at Unity, right today, we have live prayer chaplain, Pauline. She will be able to pray with anyone. Just give her a tap on the shoulder. You see her in the fellowship room. And we also have online our lovely Wilda. And she is available through the chat function on your Zoom if you're listening to this on the Sunday. And just let Wilda know, and she will pray with those online. Now, anything that makes the heart sing is connection to God. That is prayer. Prayer can be in any activity: dancing, walking in nature, singing, baking bread, breaking bread with friends and family and strangers. But especially at this Christmas time, prayer can also be in a space of stillness and peace. And I now invite you to join in the quieter type of prayer. Find yourself a comfortable way to sit. Relax your body into the chair. Now, you could take a few moments to slow down your breathing, taking deeper breaths and slower breaths in and out. Some may find closing your eyes comfortable. Let's just take those few deeper and slower breaths in and out. Divine love, source, presence, light. Our hearts are filled with thanks for the freedom, peace, love, and joy you give within us and we have all around us. We open to your flow. Thank you for the gift of the child Jesus, our way shower. We celebrate that. We affirm your love presence to us in all the celebrations of his birth and of the birth of the Christ in us. We hold in prayer the children of the world, so many of whom, like baby Jesus, are living in uncertain or dangerous circumstances, seeking shelter, needing food and warm clothing. We open our hearts and give our hands our help to do what is ours to do, to be Christ's love to them. May your Spirit guide us to find kindness and compassion in responding to any darkness that we might see around us. We overcome our darkness with your good light, your love. We hold in prayer Unity of Halton Peel and Unity Center for Spiritual Living. And I invite you now to take a few moments to silently name or whisper in your heart the names of loved ones into this divine source of love here and now. Knowing that you, our source, our creator, hears our innermost heart, we give thanks. The light of the world, your light, flows through us and over us as it did in that baby born in Bethlehem. So it is, and so let it be. Amen. And now I welcome to the stand Dawn Brigidio, our chat platform assistant, to read the daily word and introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Nancy. Hello, everybody. Today's daily word is joy. Joy uplifts me as divine light shines from within me. As Advent season draws to a close, I celebrate the light that glows from within me, the light of Christ within. Just as the 3 wise men journeyed to Bethlehem to see the newborn child, my journey through Advent has led me to discover the faith, peace, and love that are always mine. These are the true gifts of Christmas, ones I carry with me all year long. No matter the challenges and obstacles I may be called to face, oh my goodness, I'm stumbling. Let me start that over again. Love, faith, and joy and peace, those are the true gifts of Christmas, ones that carry with me all year long. No matter the challenges and obstacles I may be called to face, I will draw from my infinite storehouse of joy to remain optimistic and centered. Joy is mine today. It is the fulfillment of my Advent journey, my divine inheritance. It is in the fullness of my heart, the contentment of my mind, and the deep feeling of wellness in my soul. I am joyous. Matthew 2:10 says, when they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy, those wise men. Well, today we have one of our favorite speakers. Chuck has been a long-term member of Unity of London since 2005. Was I even born then? Yeah. He's been a prayer chaplain. He spent many years as a beloved teacher in our children's ministry also. Chuck volunteered at the Elgin Middlesex Detention Center, working with inmates with addiction issues for 35 years. Chuck lives with his beloved Suzanne and his wee dog Duke in sunny Port Stanley. With his message, Life Gets Lifey, please join me in welcoming our dear board president, friend to all, Chuck Semple.
Thanks, Don, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. God is good all the time. Would you like to say that with me, please? God is good all the time. So here at Unity of London, we have a few things we try to work on, and one of them is trying to see God in every face. So I'm going to ask you to keep that in mind as you rise up and greet the people around you with a handshake, a smile, and tell them how glad you are they're here today. It shortens the amount of time I've got to talk. It shortens the amount of time I've got to talk. Well, listen, I've got a doctor's appointment at noon, so I have to run out of the building as soon as I'm done here. So life gets lifey. And the theme for the month, the power, is life, which is a pretty big subject. The first time I heard Life Gets Lifey was a friend of Suzanne and mine's, Carol. And I don't know whether she stole it or made it up, but it was the first time I'd ever heard it. And now I hear it's spreading out because she started saying this about 3 years ago. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about our friend Carol. Carol's best friend, when she was 5 years old, was murdered and abducted and murdered. And, you know, Carol spent her whole life hoping that someday that person would be caught, but they never were. Carol was molested throughout her young life, and when she grew up, she left home and got a good job, and she, like most young people, started drinking and partying and found gambling. And Carol ended up marrying a man, Rowley. They were married for 3 years, and then Carol had to break it off because she realized she was attracted to women, so she came out as a lesbian. So she, you know, carried on with the partying and eventually met the woman of her dreams and got married. So the marriage was like made in heaven in the beginning. Like they had a beautiful house in Byron. They both had good jobs. They had lots of friends. Carol had a big pool in the backyard that, like it was like an Olympic-sized pool. She loved swimming and she loved to lay in the sun. So eventually, drinking became a problem, and so did the gambling. So she got help with that and stopped. I mean, she wouldn't even buy lottery tickets anymore. Her and her partner would take trips to Cape Cod every summer. They had a couple of places down there that they, you know, timeshares that they went to every summer. They just loved it there. So they were having a nice life, and their marriage lasted 42 years, and then it ended. Carol was brokenhearted. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she tried to patch things up, and it was over. So Carol moved to Port Stanley in 2015 because she always wanted to live. She loved the water. She wanted to live beside the water, and she moved there with her beloved little dog Buddy. And So one day, a friend brought Carol over to our house, and we knew Carol from, you know, on and off. We knew her and had been to her house, but we weren't exactly friends. So she came for a visit one day, and I could see how brokenhearted she was, and so could Suzanne. And so we welcomed her with open arms because she was new to town and, you know, still in grief. Carol loved to have dinner parties, and she would invite us over for dinner. And everything was perfect because she was a manager in the food industry. So everything would be perfect. The china, everything was laid out perfectly. The food was delicious. But one thing I loved about Carol was there was no phony baloney about her. She was like, what you saw was what you get. She said, okay, I want you all out of here by 8 o'clock. And I thought she was kidding. So, and she said, I don't want any help with the dishes. I clean it up because I like to put everything where I know where it is. So I thought she was joking, but at 20 to 8, she says, 20 minutes. And, you know, at 8 o'clock, she says, that's it, you know, and I loved that. So did Suzanne. We just got up and left. You know, no standing at the door for half an hour talking about the weather and blah, blah, blah. Just go. You know, and she'd call me a half an hour later and say, everything's done. Everything's cleaned up. It's over. She loved to have fires. You know, we'd have I'd have a fire in the yard and call her up. She'd be right over. And she'd either bring date-filled cookies or carrot cake from a little restaurant in Port Stanley. Her little dog, Buddy, died. More grief. And, you know, anybody that's had a pet, we've all been through that. So we like to show a joke, I mean, that she shared custody with our dog. She just fell in love with Duke. You saw him up there. And she would come over and take Duke for walks. Whenever we went away, she would take Duke for a week or 2 weeks, whatever it was. And she loved road trips. So in 2016, Suzanne felt a call to go to Greece, to the island of Lesbos, to help Syrian refugees coming ashore. And so we had our tickets. We were going, you know, and we'd made all the arrangements. And Carol said to me one day, oh, if my house, because the breakup of her marriage, they hadn't sold the house yet. She said, if my house sold, I'd be going right with you. I said, oh yeah, that's nice, Carol. I've heard a lot of people that told me stuff like that. But about a week later, she says, I got my tickets. I'm coming. I don't care if my house sells. You know, that's the kind of woman she was. So, you know, the three of us went to Greece, the island of Lesbos, and Reverend Laurie showed up a week later. But the thing about Carol is that, I don't know what, she just attracted people. You know, there was people there from all over the world, young people, old people, everybody volunteering to help the refugees. And a lot of them would get overwhelmed by what was going on there. You know, we're not used to seeing that kind of suffering on that kind of scale. But Carol was like a den mother to a lot of these people. They would go to her for comfort. So Carol had a lung disease, and she'd had it for years. But it was slow. It was kind of like a thing that coated the inside of your lungs slowly, just kind of creeping, and it blocked off your availability for oxygen. So she'd had it for a long, long time, but then she got diagnosed again that said it's starting to move, and it's moving reasonably quick. So she ended up with a little oxygen bottle, and that was fine in a bag. She could still walk around, and then she ended up with the oxygen bag and a walker. And then Suzanne and I took her to London, and she got a bright cherry red electric scooter. She just loved that, wheeling around town in that. So, you know, they gave her maybe 2 years, the way things were going, and that's when she coined this phrase, life gets lifey. You know, she just accepted it with such grace and courage. So she had a bucket list. She always wanted to go to Africa, so it was a month-long safari thing she went on to Africa. She just had an amazing, amazing time. She said the first night they were in those yurts with the wooden floor, and it's got a washroom in it. But she said there was baboons howling outside the yurt, and she was terrified. She didn't get any sleep that night, she said, because it sounded like the baboons were right outside of her tent and were going to come in and get her, but they never did. But she saw everything there, lions and, monkeys and rhinos and zebras. She saw everything. She was there for long enough for that. So when she came home, her next thing on the bucket list was Newfoundland. So she asked if Suzanne and I would take her to Newfoundland. So the 4 of us went. Another friend of Suzanne's named Pam. And Duke, of course, went with us. And we just had a fantastic time. Really, really awesome. We really wanted to see an iceberg, but it was July. And the first place we stayed in St. Anthony, we pulled, as soon as we could see the bay, there was a huge iceberg sitting right in the bay. I mean, magnificent. And it was right in front of the cottage that Suzanne had lined up for us. So we had this huge iceberg sitting in front of our cottage for like 4 days. It was great. But we saw, puffins, we saw whales, seals, and we were in Moore National Park, and a moose walked right across in front of our car. We were stopped, and it was like way bigger than our car, and it got to the other side of the road, and they got squirrely eyes, looking at us, and I thought, we got to get out of here. That thing might attack our car. So, we had a wonderful time in Newfoundland. We also went to the Quebec North Shore. She'd always wanted to go there and see the North Shore of the Ottawa River, and we saw beluga whales, like a whole big school of them, and same thing. It was just the 3 of us went, and Duke, and we had a ball. So we came home from that, and she's next lining up the Agawa Canyon because fall is coming. We want to take that train and see all the fall colors. But in August, late August, Suzanne and I were camping up at near Kincardine, and Carol said she'd be fine. We were going to go for 2 weeks. But into the first week, we got a call from Carol. She was in the hospital. And she said, I think it's time. So we packed up everything and headed home. I wrote this down. Carol's life was a testament to the power of love and the importance of cherishing every moment. And she really demonstrated that. So Carol's in the hospital when we get home. We spent every waking minute up there, and even Duke went. They let us take Duke into the hospital. So I'll never forget Duke sitting in the bed and Carol loving him up, and she was just thrilled with that. So she had planned MAID for months before, she knew it was coming, so she had MAID planned. She had it all planned out perfectly, everything. None of it came true for her. None of it worked out. The night before she was supposed to have the MAID, she had a stroke. So we went up to see her and she couldn't speak, right? She would say stuff, but it would all come out gibberish. And all day she was getting so frustrated trying to tell us something, and Suzanne finally figured it out, what she was trying to say. I love you guys. It was pretty sweet. So then the doctor comes in, and he explains to her, listen, you've had a stroke, because I'm not sure if she knew that or not, but you've had a stroke, and to get MAID, you have to be conscious and agree to it at the time that it's administered. And he said, we're a little worried with the stroke that might not work out for you because we're not going to do it till tomorrow. She said, the other plan is that we could unplug everything from you, take away your oxygen and take you off everything and give you a nice sedative and just let you go naturally. Oh, she vigorously agreed to that. So down the hall we all went to a big room with couches, and Carol was laying there. And months before, like in July, I think, she was visiting me, and we were on the back deck, and she said, well, I'm putting together a playlist of songs I want for when I'm getting the MAID. And I said, well, what about Van Morrison's Bright Side of the Street? That's a really good song. It talks about our lives. We're going from the dark side of the street to the bright side of the street. So we must have listened to it 4 times, and she hemmed and hawed, and yeah, I like it, but no, I don't think so. So she rejected the song. I thought, oh, well, too bad. So when we're in the room, there's probably maybe, I'm not sure, 10 or 12 of us, family and close friends. And she was conscious when we first went in there, and we were talking to her, and people were holding her hand and stroking her hair, and she was really well loved. And anyways, her playlist started, and the second song was The Bright Side of the Street by Van Morrison. It was just like a personal message to me, and a nice surprise that she picked that song. And the last song that was playing when she took her last breath was Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. Of course, there was like they had to mop the floor after that. You know, it wasn't a dry eye in the place. So she had left enough for arrangements for us to have a celebration of life, and we had it at the Port Stanley Arena. I mean, that's a pretty big venue. There was well over 100 people showed up for that. And her friend Gail gave a nice talk, because she'd been friends with Carol most of her life. Gave a nice talk, and then she held the mic out like they do and said, anybody else want to say anything? And there, it was like dead air. And then finally one person cautiously walked up, and they had a really nice tale about Carol. And then another person, and then another. Next thing I knew, there was a big lineup of people waiting to get the mic, so it was a whole afternoon of beautiful stories of how Gail had touched so many lives. And after that, 4 o'clock, we headed to Little Beach. And I've never seen this in Port Stanley in my life. From the light, the main intersection, the only light in town, down to Little Beach was jam-packed solid cars. Like people in town must have been wondering, what the heck, and at the Little Beach, we had one of those pop-up vendor-type tents and a sound system, and there were some people there with guitars. Kelly Austin and her daughter, she used to be the children's ministry head here at Unity. They sang some beautiful songs. Reverend Laurie she knew Carol too, did a beautiful service for her. And then she had 2 nieces that we really hit it off, and they come up with the urn with Carol's ashes and said, we want you to put the ashes in the lake. And so I don't know if you know Little Beach, we had to go down a fairly steep hill and over some rocks to get to the water, and the 2 girls and I were going down, and I slipped on a rock, and just about they went into the lake, and the whole crowd went, ooh. A little more entertainment. And so then they hung on to me while I put the ashes in the big, beautiful white plume of Carol, melting into the lake. And Carol had always said, listen, if you see a blue dragonfly, it's me come to say hello to you. And I'm not kidding you. Within a minute, there was a blue dragonfly buzzing back and forth across that plume, and somebody yelled and pointed it out, and another person got a picture of it. So we took up a collection, and we got a bench for Carol and put it on the beach, right in front of GT's beach bar and restaurant. So it's the best location in the entire town. And so on Carol's bench, it has her name and then her quote, "Life gets lifey." And here's a coincidence. The bench right next to it, there only is 2 benches there. And the bench right next to it, the lady's quote is, "Embrace the moments." And Carol used to talk on the phone a lot. And she had a lady that called her every morning from Ireland while we were on that Newfoundland trip, every morning. And Carol always ended every call with, "Enjoy the moments." I thought, what a coincidence that the bench right next to her has her other favorite saying. So I've heard that a coincidence is just God's way of remaining anonymous. So Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And I think loving yourself is the biggest part of that. I think we need to fall in love with that little boy or that little girl that is deep down inside of all of us, and have a connection with that inner little being that, who knows how you were treated. We're all different, but my little boy wasn't treated all that well, so was nice to connect with that. And also a Bible quote, Romans 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God. So I found a little diagram of what our will is and what God's will is. So self-will is resentful, selfishness, dishonesty, and fear. And God's will for us is purity, unselfishness, honesty, and love. So may Spirit bless you and keep you, and the great Spirit make her face to shine upon you. May God turn God's face toward you and give you peace. And with that, we're going to do something a little different. Bella has agreed to come up, and we're going to do a little meditation together. Come on up, Bella. I even got a chair for you. And I forgot to say, the main thing that I got from Carol's life, because from 5 years old to her last breath, was that I could see her where she came from the dark side to the bright side. And through all the, whatever, pain, suffering, love, peace, joy, through all of it, swirling through her life, I could see what a beautiful, precious thing life is, which helped me to see in my own life. I could look back and see the same thing. Yeah, there was hard times, there was grief, there was, we all get it. Nobody gets out unscathed, but I could see that my own life, that God was in it all. The good, the bad, all of it. Swirling all together and looking back at it, it's one beautiful, precious life. And that's my hope for you guys. My prayer for you guys today is that over the Christmas, that we reflect back over the years and see in our own lives what a precious, beautiful gift we've been given, this life. The good, the bad, and the whole enchilada. It's a beautiful thing. So now with that, we'll go into meditation. Okay. Bella's going to sing the prayer for Oponopono. Yeah, I see it. I'm not sure you need a mic. Do you want a mic? Sounds like it's on. Yeah, it's on. So Bella's going to sing from the Hawaiian religion, Oponopono. It's basically a prayer of forgiveness. And she's going to sing that softly while I do the meditation.
And I would love for you all to join in when you know the words. So it starts like this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
Now if you want to close your eyes
I'm sorry.
and visualize
Please forgive
that you're walking down a brick path,
me. Thank you.
look down
I
at your
love
feet.
you.
What are you wearing on your feet?
I'm sorry.
You're wearing sandals,
Please
shoes.
forgive me.
Just be conscious of what you're wearing.
Thank you.
You're walking on a brick
I love
path.
you. I'm sorry.
You start to step forward,
Please
consciously
forgive
visualizing each step.
me. Thank you. I love you.
Subtly you feel a hand slip into your
I'm
hand.
sorry. Please forgive me.
It's the spirit of the universe, God.
Thank you. I love you.
So continue strolling down that
I'm
path,
sorry.
hand in hand with the spirit of the universe.
Please forgive me.
Who are you going to see on the
Thank
path?
you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
Now come back to the room and open your eyes whenever you're ready. Peace and riches, blessings, and Merry, Merry Christmas, and thanks, Bella. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was awesome.
And thank you, Chuck. I did meet Carol once in your house. Okay. Anyways, I did meet Carol once at their house, and that was a woman who had presence. She really did. She had an energy about her. It was wonderful to hear the story of her life and how you used the term, Chuck. She brought light. She brought that life energy, animation to whatever she did. That's who we all are with Christ consciousness, full of that life energy and that light. So now I'm going to welcome Grisella back to sing.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening, a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. To sing a love song while we stroll along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, "Are you married?" We'll say, "No, man, but you can do the job when you're in town." Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland.
Wow, doesn't that just all put us in that Christmas spirit? There we go. Yeah, thank you, Grisella, and Merry Christmas to you especially, and your family and your friend. Yes, I will, when the announcements come. Thank you. Okay, George, you have to take your Christmas gift lottery prize. Would you come up here and accept it? It is the $30 voucher from the bookstore. He won it on the Wednesday night special that we had with Jim.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. So now we have the lovely announcements, and I am going to read them. Oh, no, we're not. We're actually going... We are going to have our offering now, and I believe it's Kate and Renee are going to come and gently circulate. It is the sharing of your time, talent, and treasures with us at Unity that keeps us thriving as a community of spiritually uplifted persons united in love and fellowship and service. There are several ways to give financially. You can do it in person, by envelope, tithely, unityoflondon@hotmail.com, and if you're doing the online, please designate what the offering is for, because we have several areas of donation. And we affirm prosperity and abundance for Unity of London and all spiritual communities in all forms, in all realms, in body, mind, and spirit. And now, as Renee and Kate have come to the front, please join me in the blessing for these offerings. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. And now we have the announcements. The Sacred Circle is hosted by Chuck, happens after fellowship. Now we are running late because we had a few technical difficulties, so it might start a little later than 12, but just Chuck, our speaker today, see him. And when he heads here into the sanctuary, those that want to have a deeper dive, as he calls it, into the message of the service, they can join him here in the sanctuary. And what is said in the circle stays in the circle. It is a time for individual sharing, and it's kept confidential. Bookstore special. You might have noticed there is jewelry that is on sale. It's a big rectangular thing with various jewelry on that, and it is for sale. And it's great prices, $4 each, or 3 pieces of jewelry for just $10. And there is a machine, debit credit machine in the bookstore, or you can talk to Suzanne Semple or Peggy if you'd like to pay cash. Okay, donations. So our donation box is at the back. There's a big one and a little one. One's for clothing, one's for food. And this is to help out. We've done it the last few years. We have had 89 pounds of donations to the food bank so far, included food, gluten-free items, cat food, feminine hygiene. And we also have and can openers and canned goods. We also have had clothes. We've had a large garbage bag of items that had a coat, jacket, pants, scarves, blanket, hats, mitts, and 68 pairs of socks. We're still receiving donations till January the 11th. So if you can remember either Christmas Eve or the next 2 Sundays after, you can bring the donations there to the back. Christmas Eve candlelight service. It is happening 7 p.m. this Wednesday night. And Pauline, are you still looking for volunteers? There's a sign-up sheet at the very back. And please see Pauline even if you've already signed up, and if you have any questions, it's there at the back. We do need a couple of volunteers still. We're looking for that. Now, you can please join me in a prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. And the presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I go, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. Okay, and just as we're let's form a circle and we sing the peace song. Just as a gentle reminder that when the peace song is done, if you want to go directly to the fellowship room, that's good, but it's also, after this is done, a time for sharing. So we would ask to keep conversations out in the hall or the fellowship room, okay? So just as a gentle reminder for conversations, this is a time for people to share.